Letting go is the path to true success. In the journey of human life, perhaps one of our greatest illusions is the belief that we can control everything. We cling tightly to every plan, every detail, every outcome, as if life were a problem we could solve with logic. But life is not a number. It is a river, fluid, ever-changing, and never truly within our command. The more we try to steer that current, the more exhausted, lost, and disheartened we become. I, too, was once young, driven by ambition, believing that with enough effort, with enough control, life would bend to my will. But after 30 years of living and practicing in the light of the Buddha's teachings, I have come to realize a profound truth. The path forward does not lie in holding tighter. It lies in letting go. Letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean carelessness or indifference. Letting go is a refined art of living, a deep form of mindfulness. It is acting with a full heart, but without attachment to the result. It is setting goals, but not chaining yourself to success or failure. It is knowing that the universe moves with its own mysterious rhythm, and that you can flow with it, if only you learn to trust and release. In Buddhism, we call this state non-attachment. The Diamond Sutra teaches, "Let the mind arise without clinging to anything." When we live this way, our minds are no longer bound. We radiate a calm and open energy, an invitation for life's hidden blessings to reveal themselves. The tighter we hold, the more closed we become. The more rigid our grip, the less we can feel joy. But when we let go, we become gentle, spacious, and alive. In that gentleness lies true strength. In that openness, wisdom is born. And in that space, miracles can unfold. True success does not come from forcing life to match our expectations. It comes when we live in harmony with the natural order, knowing when to act and when to rest, when to reach and when to allow. The sincere seeker does not pray for a smooth life. They pray for the wisdom not to be shaken by hardship, the compassion not to harden through pain, and the insight to surrender when the moment calls for release. So, dear fellow traveler, if you are weary from doing too much, try doing less. If you are burdened from grasping too tightly, loosen your hold. For it may be in that softening, in that sacred pause, that you finally hear the universe whispering, "Everything you've been seeking has always been here, waiting for you to receive it." The universe responds to vibration, not desperation. One of the most sacred truths revealed through Buddhist insight is this: the universe is not deaf, but it listens differently than we expect. It does not respond to our cries of desperation or our frantic chasing. It responds instead to the quiet frequency we emit from the depths of our being, our vibration. Vibration is not just a spiritual metaphor, it is the energetic tone of our consciousness. In every moment, your thoughts, your emotions, and your beliefs send out invisible waves into the great ocean of existence. These waves do not lie. You may speak words of faith, but if your heart vibrates with fear, the universe hears the fear. You may visualize abundance, but if your inner core hums with lack, the universe echoes that scarcity back to you. Desperation is a distortion of trust. It is the silent scream that says, "I do not believe." And so, when we move through life with anxious effort, trying to make things happen, trying to force the hand of fate, we unknowingly broadcast the vibration of fear, of lack, of disconnection. And the universe, ever faithful to the energies we emit, mirrors back the same. But when we shift, when we breathe deeply, surrender control, and begin to vibrate with calm confidence, everything changes. The universe begins to move in our favor, not because we demanded it, but because we resonated with it. Calmness, trust, gratitude, these are not passive states. They are frequencies that open portals. They are keys to unseen doors. In Buddhist practice, we learn that the mind is a transmitter and receiver. What you hold within, you attract without. If you fill yourself with presence, kindness, and faith, life responds in kind. You align not with chaos, but with clarity. You stop chasing and begin attracting. Imagine a still lake. When it is undisturbed, it reflects the sky clearly. But if you throw stones of fear, doubt, and worry, the surface ripples, and nothing can be seen clearly. Your energy is the same. The clearer, calmer, and more trusting you become, the more life flows back to you in harmony. This is not a lesson in laziness. It is a teaching in resonance. Yes, you must act. Yes, you must dream. But let that action arise from love, not panic. Let your dreams be guided by inspiration, not survival. For the universe speaks in vibration, not volume. So let go of the chase. Tune your energy to joy, peace, and quiet faith. And watch as life begins to echo back everything you've been yearning for, not because you begged, but because you believed. The more you try to control, the more you block the natural flow. There is a profound paradox in life that few truly see. The more we try to control everything, the more we lose our inner freedom. In the human mind, there is a persistent whisper: make sure everything goes right, ensure nothing gets out of hand. And yet that same voice robs us of serenity, trading peace for endless striving. Buddhism teaches all phenomena arise through dependent origination. Everything is born and flows from the interwoven causes and conditions. When we try to manipulate, interfere, or cling too tightly, we disrupt this natural order, and from there, suffering begins. Imagine holding a handful of sand, and the tighter you grip, the more the grains slip through your fingers. But when you loosen your hand, the sand rests gently in your palm. Life behaves in the same way. When we forcefully control every path, we create internal tension. We become closed, anxious, and ultimately block the very things we long to receive. Control is not strength. Control is often rooted in fear. We control because we are afraid of loss. We plan because we fear failure. We dominate others because we fear being hurt. And in doing so, we unconsciously build chains around our own hearts, cutting off the flow of joy, spontaneity, and the quiet miracles of life. A mindful practitioner understands, not everything needs to be controlled. Some things must be allowed to come and go on their own. Look to nature for guidance. The sun rises without being summoned, and rivers find their path without needing a map. All of creation moves in a quiet, unseen harmony, untouched by human grasping. Letting go of control is not apathy. It is the highest form of conscious living. You still act. You still plant seeds of intention, but you release the demand to own the outcome. You act from love and wisdom, not fear and force. The more we try to control, the smaller our inner world becomes. Our mind becomes like a cramped room, leaving no space for life to enter. But when we release control, we expand. And in that spaciousness, life flows toward us, in the form of opportunities, relationships, healing, and growth. Letting go is not weakness. It is profound strength. It is the courage to admit we don't have to control everything, and that we were never meant to. It is faith in something greater, a quiet trust in the deeper current that carries all things exactly where they need to be. So if today you feel tired from holding on too tightly to your work, your relationships, your future, or even your own self, take a breath. Ask gently, can I trust a little more today? Can I soften this grip I've been clinging with? And if you can, you'll find that when we let go, we lose nothing. On the contrary, we begin to truly receive. Not everything you want will arrive immediately, but everything meant for you will come in its own perfect time. The power of silence. In a world that never stops moving, where the noise of urgency and busyness seeps into every moment of life, we are slowly drifting away from one of the most sacred gifts the universe has to offer: silence. In the eyes of Buddhist philosophy, silence is not merely the absence of speech. Silence is the absence of inner disturbance, a stillness of the heart where the mind is no longer stirred by anxiety, judgment, or craving. It is the sacred space where truth reveals itself, not through thought, but through pure presence. Imagine a lake at dawn. No wind, no ripples, only perfect stillness. In that moment, the water becomes a flawless mirror, reflecting the sky, the trees, and even yourself, clearly, purely, without distortion. The human mind is much the same. Only when it becomes truly quiet can it reflect reality as it is. In silence, we begin to hear the voices that were long drowned out by the noise of life, the whisper of intuition, the guidance of wisdom, the gentle pull of trust. We no longer need to shout to be heard, nor prove ourselves to be seen. We simply return to ourselves, and in that quiet return, we discover an unshakable power. Many people fear silence, mistaking it for emptiness or weakness. But in truth, silence is the voice of a full heart. Only when we feel whole can we be silent without feeling hollow. Only when we no longer need to prove ourselves can we rest in stillness. Silence, in this sense, is not a lack. It is completeness. The Buddha spoke for 49 years, yet one of his most remembered moments was when he said nothing, simply holding up a flower. And in that silence, transmission occurred. For some truths cannot be explained in words. They must be realized in the quiet space of direct experience. In daily life, if we know how to pause and return to silence, we will start to sense the true rhythm of the universe. When we stop talking, we hear more. When we stop rushing, we see more clearly. When we retreat from the outer noise, we enter the inner sanctuary, a space beyond winning or losing, right or wrong. Silence is also a form of compassion. When we don't react in anger, when we refrain from wounding others with our words, when we choose stillness over conflict, silence becomes a protector. It shields the heart from further harm and preserves the peace between souls. And when silence becomes part of your inner life, you no longer fear. You can sit quietly amid the chaos of the world without being pulled into it. You can walk through life without needing to raise your voice. Your presence, in silence, becomes its own living teaching. So if you feel lost in the noise of life, in social media, in overthinking, in the endless questions spinning through your mind, pause for a while, sit down, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and enter the silence within you. There you will not find answers in words, but you will find truth. And that, more than anything, is what you have always been seeking. The art of trusting divine timing. In this age of speed where people are conditioned to expect instant results, the art of trusting timing is quietly fading. We want everything now. Success, love, recognition, happiness. We grow impatient, waiting for outcomes, fearing we'll fall behind, fearing life is slipping through our fingers. But Buddhism reminds us, everything has its own season of becoming. Just as a flower cannot bloom while it is still a seed, your destiny too needs time to take root, mature, and unfold in its own sacred rhythm. Trusting timing, then, is not about inaction. It is a powerful act of faith in the mysterious order of the universe. You may have planted seeds of kindness, shown up every day with effort and hope, yet see no visible result. But that does not mean nothing is happening. Some growth happens silently beneath the surface. Some blessings require deeper roots in your soul before they can bloom into your life. When you are impatient, you send a subtle message to the universe. I don't believe things are working as they should. And in that disbelief, you create resistance, leading to frustration, disappointment, and often self-doubt. But when you trust timing and truly trust, a deep calm begins to settle in your heart. You no longer force yourself to meet someone else's timeline. You stop racing with life. Instead, you learn to stay present, allowing all things to arrive at their appointed time. Look to nature. The sun rises exactly when it should. Seasons shift with perfect consistency. Not a single leaf falls before its time. Your life is no different. When you are ready, when your soul has matured enough to receive, what you desire will arrive. Not early, not late, but precisely right. The Buddha once taught, "Live in the present, for the past is gone and the future has not yet come." When you embrace this moment without judgment or resistance, you open the doorway for right timing to walk in. You are no longer living in an illusion of control, but in the fullness of reality, where everything unfolds naturally. Trusting divine timing is also an act of wise surrender. You do not abandon your dreams. You simply release the obsession with how and when they must manifest. You continue moving forward, but with anchored presence, not anxious striving. And mysteriously, when you stop forcing things to happen faster, the very things you seek begin to draw nearer, because you are no longer blocking the flow of life with urgency. You are aligning with it through the quiet power of trust. So if today you are waiting for a door to open, for an opportunity to appear, or a dream to come alive, take a breath. Trust that the universe is never late. Sometimes you just need a little more time to become the version of yourself who is ready to receive it fully. Right timing does not only bring you what you want, it transforms you into who you need to be in order to hold it, cherish it, and grow with it. You attract what you believe you deserve. In this universe, the miracle does not lie in what we wish for, but in how deeply we believe we deserve what we long for. Buddhism teaches all phenomena are created by the mind. That means the reality you experience, the opportunities, the relationships, the success, and even the pain is a reflection of the deep beliefs you hold within. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you believe you are worthy of. Pause and ask yourself, do I truly believe I deserve peace, love, and success? If the answer is yes, and you truly feel it in every thought, every action, every breath, then know this: you are vibrating with the frequency of abundance and self-respect, and the universe will send you things aligned with that energy. But if no matter how much you dream, there is still a quiet voice inside saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't deserve happiness, then that is the belief that must be healed first, before any true manifestation can take place. A person with a wounded sense of worth may stand in front of an open door and still refuse to walk through. They may pull away from love because they don't believe they are lovable. They may reject opportunities because they think they will fail. And in doing so, they unconsciously block the very blessings the universe has placed in their path. The Buddha never said that some are born worthy and others are not. He taught that all beings possess Buddha nature, the innate capacity to awaken, to live fully, and to know deep happiness. The issue is not ability, it is belief. If you do not believe you can rise from suffering, you will stay in it. If you believe you are worthy of a meaningful life, you will begin to shape one. Belief is not something to be forced, but it can be cultivated. Each day you can nourish it by being kind to yourself, by honoring even your smallest efforts, by ceasing to compare yourself to others, and by recognizing your inherent value. When you begin to live as someone who believes they are worthy, not with arrogance, but with quiet self-respect, your energy changes. You emit a frequency of, I am ready to receive. And the universe, which always reflects your inner state, will mirror that belief back to you. What you receive in life is not just the result of your actions. It is shaped by the belief you carry day after day. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of a success that resonates deeply with your soul, not because you are perfect, but because you are an inseparable part of this sacred living universe. So begin to believe and live as if the goodness you long for is already beside you, because in truth, it is. It has been waiting all along for you to open your heart and say, "Yes, I'm ready." Calmness is a form of manifestation. In a world that constantly urges us to do more, try harder, and achieve faster, the idea of calmness is often misunderstood as laziness, passivity, or giving up. But in the light of Buddhist wisdom, calmness is not the absence of effort. It is, in fact, one of the highest vibrational states of manifestation, where all desires, goals, and dreams can naturally take root and unfold. We've been conditioned to hustle, to work relentlessly, to plan every step, to strategize every outcome. But the more we push, the more we burn out. Our energy becomes tangled with anxiety, fear, and tension. And from that place of inner chaos, we do not attract what we desire, we block it. In contrast, when we reside in calmness, in a state of stillness, clarity, and acceptance, our inner energy begins to harmonize with the universe. Just as a still lake can perfectly reflect the sky above, a peaceful heart becomes the perfect mirror for all that we seek to manifest. Calmness is not inaction. It is action that arises from a place unshaken by fear or urgency. When you are calm, you do not chase or force. You move with purpose, but you are not attached to the outcome. And that is what makes your actions powerful, precise, and deeply aligned. The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree in complete silence. And from that deep calm, he awakened to the ultimate truth of existence. This is no coincidence. Only in calmness can we hear the deeper voice within, perceive reality clearly, and connect with the vast current of life that moves through all things. Calmness also gives us the chance to pause, to stop running after the next goal, and instead return inward. When the mind is no longer scattered, we begin to realize what we truly want. And when our desires arise from inner peace, rather than attachment or desperation, they manifest naturally, without force. Manifestation does not always come from intense effort. Sometimes the miracle comes the moment you sit still, breathe deeply, and say to the universe, "I trust." In that very moment, the energy of calmness opens the door for life to move in your favor. So if you're tired from striving, if you've knocked on many doors and received no answer, try instead to rest in calmness. Walk slower, speak less, worry less, and feel more. In that space, you don't need to do more to get more, because in your calm presence, you already embody worthiness. And from that grounded energy, life naturally flows toward you. Calmness is not just a reward after manifestation. It is the very gateway through which dreams become real. It is the fertile ground in which every seed of desire can take root. Letting go is the key to receiving. There is a simple yet profound truth. You cannot receive with clenched fists. And this doesn't only apply to your hands. It applies to your heart and mind as well. We are often taught that if we truly want something, we must hold on tightly, never let go, and fight to the very end. But in the light of Buddhist wisdom, the truth is quite the opposite. The Buddha taught, letting go is not losing, it is opening. It is opening a space within so that something new, something right, something beautiful can finally enter. Holding on, whether to people, outcomes, expectations, or the past, creates resistance. When we cling too tightly, our inner energy becomes tense and closed, and in such a state we cannot flow with the gentle, vibrant, ever-changing current of the universe. Letting go in Buddhism does not mean giving up on your dreams or taking no action. On the contrary, it is a higher form of action, where you do everything with full sincerity but without attachment to the result. Where you know what you want, but you do not demand that life obey your timeline. Where you place trust above control, like a farmer planting seeds. He cannot control when they will sprout. All he can do is prepare the soil, plant with care, water with love, and then let go, allowing nature to do its part. The more he interferes, the more he disturbs the process. And if he digs up the soil every day to check the seed, he may destroy the very life he's trying to grow. We are the same. When we release the need to control everything, we begin to live in trust. We begin to believe that what leaves us is no longer part of our path, that what hasn't arrived yet is still being prepared for us, and that the universe, in its infinite wisdom, knows exactly what is best for us, even if we cannot yet see the full picture. Letting go is also a form of courage. The courage to admit that some things are not meant for us. The courage to stop not because we failed, but because we've awakened to the truth that something better is waiting. And the courage to live without needing full clarity in order to feel safe. When we truly let go, we open the space for something greater to appear. In that open space, love can return, opportunities can emerge, and what we never imagined possible can begin to blossom. So if you are tired from holding on to a person, a result, a sadness, or an old expectation, gently ask your heart, does this still serve my growth? And if the answer is no, smile and let it go. Not because it didn't matter, but because you're now making room for something truer, deeper, and more aligned to arrive. Letting go is not an ending. It is a new beginning, a beginning of freedom, trust, and the sacred ability to receive the miracles life has been waiting to give you. Trust the journey. Let go to receive. When we've wandered through enough of life's noise, struggled long enough with control, and clung long enough to what slips through our hands, we begin to understand a quiet truth. Everything we truly need will come when we are peaceful enough to receive it. It's not when we run faster that life catches up. It's not when we try harder that all doors unlock. It's when we pause with mindfulness and quiet trust that the universe finally finds space to draw near. We often imagine life as a battlefield where the strongest and most relentless win. But to the awakened mind, life is a sacred river, and what matters is not how far we've gone, but whether we know how to surrender into its current with grace. The Buddha taught, do no evil, cultivate good, and purify the mind. This is the teaching of all Buddhas. And a purified mind is only possible when we begin to release our grasp, stop controlling, let go of attachments, and live fully in the now. When you let go, you don't lose anything. You are simply returning the right of life to flow naturally, and returning yourself the right to live lightly and freely. In that letting go, wisdom is born. In that non-doing, the highest act takes place, the act of trust. Trust that you don't need to become someone else to be loved. Trust that what belongs to you will stay, and what leaves was never meant to. Trust that even when all seems uncertain, the universe is quietly weaving your path, patiently, faithfully. Sometimes miracles don't arrive with dramatic change. They arrive in the simplest moment, when you sit down, take a deep breath, smile softly, and whisper, I am enough. Enough to stop chasing, enough to stop comparing, enough to stop carrying the weight of everything alone, and enough to open your heart, not to what you must fight for, but to what has always been meant for you. You don't need to know exactly where life is leading you. You just need to trust that you are being led. The spiritual journey doesn't require that you have all the answers. only that you walk with faith, and that faith is your lantern in the dark, a light that doesn't come from outside but rises from the silence of your own soul. So breathe slower, live softer, stop gripping so tightly. Let life come to you, not as something you must conquer, but as a gift you are finally ready to receive.